Welcome everybody to tonight's episode of Late Night Q&A with ZodWriter. As you know, I don't like to do intros. I'm not into fancy editing. I'm not into anything. I'm a talk show host. I like to get right to it, and I like to give people what they ask for. So at this point, I want to introduce my guest, the lovely and wonderful Saggy Melonz. I'm so happy to have you here on Late Night Q&A. You just don't understand. Anytime you and I have an opportunity to team up and talk about anything, I get excited. I mean, you literally get me pumped up and aroused every time we talk. And I mean that in a good way. I don't mean that I'm not trying to be a creep like I've been called out, or some people are trying to say I'm some sort of a creep when I have my female counterparts on these streams. I don't know where they get that from, but hey, people will say all kinds of things because I've heard, Saggy, that I'm a creepy homophobe and you are a raging racist. That's what I've heard. That's what the rumors are. And I feel like tonight is the time to kind of clear that up and kind of clear that up like a bad STD. We got to get rid of it. So before we do that though, I want to address the elephant in the room, and I got to ask you straight away. Did you see Chippendale Rescue Rangers?
No, but everyone's been talking about Ugly Sonic, and I saw the clip of Ugly Sonic, and I was like, I kind of need to see this, but the voice acting for Chippendale seems very bad, so I was like, but I want to see it.
Saggy, I have to say, and I'm saying this honestly and wholeheartedly, the movie's a masterpiece. I can't wait to watch it again. There's so many callbacks to so many references and things to people who grew up during that time. Like if you liked anything that went on in the 90s when Rescue Rangers was popular, if you were into any of that movie, the movie's gonna catch you in the feels, because it definitely has that takes that approach, and it's really, really wonderful. Checking in with the chat here, we've got Marvel Mania, RJ with the big eyes, so I guess he's wondering what's going to happen tonight. We've got Geek Studios in the chat saying this is going to be interesting. I don't know why people think it's so interesting. It's just me and Saggy. We've streamed together a thousand times before. It's not anything new.
Podcast together.
Yeah, we were doing it was literally like a weekly thing that we did together, and people just have no memory of it. No. But that's kind of sad. Phil TMT, what's up, Phil? Good to see you, man. Says hello there. We've got the Bat Dan 530 in the chat. What's up? Says won't be watching long. Work tomorrow. Bat Dan, I'm surprised you're here, because there's a lot of people that that basically I think are boycotting me tonight. I don't know. Darkness Under the Wind says what's up, everyone, and we got the great Adega Outlaw saying hail to you, Adega Outlaw. If you haven't seen Adega Outlaw's YouTube channel, this is a guy, he writes all of his own stories and stuff like science fiction and fantasy and that kind of thing, and he literally reads his stories before he releases them and sells them as ebooks and stuff. He literally reads his material on his YouTube channel in an audiobook format, and his voice, I mean, he's got the greatest voice for it. I mean, you talk about somebody who has a soothing voice where you can literally meditate to him reading his stories and getting lost in whatever world he creates. Adega Outlaw is the man, and I'm going to have him on Late Night Q&A one of these days, because he is just amazing. And we've got that dude Vince saying, yo, Saggy and Zod. Vince, we love you. You are awesome. I'm so glad you are here, because you are somebody who is also a fan of Saggy Melonz. So I appreciate you being here. Yes. Geek Studios. Hi, Zod. Hi, Saggy. And we got, let's see, Geek Studios. Oh, wow. I'm a mod. Of course you're a mod, Geeks. You stopped showing up to my streams. You haven't showed up to many of them. And I'm like, man, I'm going to have to go ahead and make sure that you're a mod. I always wanted to make you a mod. And that's been mod. Yeah, he's definitely a good mod. That dude Vince says at work and need y'all to keep me sane. That's awesome, man. I appreciate that, Vince. Let's see. Chippendale Rescue Rangers is my favorite show and movie. Oh, it's a great movie. It's a great movie. And everybody in the chat, I swear, I was so happy, Saggy, when I watched this movie. And I watched this movie just before this show. This was the last thing I did. You know, I was busy during the day, but this was like the last thing I did before we went live. And I was thinking, I mean, is this really the kind of movie that I want to watch before I get on this stream with Saggy? Because this is a really feel good movie. This really puts me in a good mood. Like I'm supposed to be in like fight mode. I should have been watching Fight Club or something, or watching a Scorsese movie or something. Maybe I should have watched Goodfellas or something before the stream. But
yeah,
no,
get yourself pumped.
Get pumped up. But no, that's how exaggerated the hate towards you is. I have to say.
I love it though. I love it and I thrive on it, and that's what people don't understand. And that's why when it happens, I'm just like, got him.
I swear to God, I've gotten to the point, Saggy, where you or anybody could tell me that 2 + 2 is 5, and I'll just look at you and say, I agree with you. That's great. Congratulations. Because to me, it shouldn't matter so much what we think. Like I'll never understand like why it matters to so many people whether you're for or against something, or me, whether I'm for or against something. That's the thing I never understand. It's like, listen, I'm not, just because I hate that Robert Pattinson Batman movie shouldn't in any way take away from somebody's enjoyment of that very movie.
Right. Exactly.
And just because you don't support the way some of the people in the Snyderverse fandom handle their business shouldn't take away from anything that they want to do or not want to do. That's just how you view the situation. So I've always just looked at it as content. And I promise you that one time when you and I had our misunderstanding about the whole Snyderverse thing, the only reason why I was even upset with you was because I thought you were including me in your vitriol and anger. Remember, we had that misunderstanding, and I thought about it, and I'm like, and when we cleared that all up, I thought about it, and I said to myself, I will never, no matter what happens, take any content that Saggy makes in a personal way ever again, because I realized that, again, it's just content. That's all it is. That was the lesson I took from that. It's just content. Even when a couple of guys who don't care for me too much made a video about me and Sil Abdul and called us what did they called us? They called us tragic clowns or whatever. It's just content. At the end of the day, who cares? And that's what I've kind of come to realize. And I'm gonna tell you, when the reason why I'm on good terms right now with Ty from Pop Culture Corner, the reason why him and I kind of, settled our grievances and became kind of friend-like, is because I took that approach too and realized he's just making content. He doesn't know me, so he's making content. He doesn't have any real frame of reference. He's just going off of what his friends have told him. He's not really, he doesn't know me, but we've been chatting, we've been talking, and I'm going to have Ty on here pretty soon. Actually, I think not this coming Thursday because I got Robert Meyer Burnett, but I think Ty is the very next week. These Q&As are scheduled so far in advance, I forget, but I think it's like 1 week from next week. But again, he makes a lot of content. He has a lot of different views and a lot of different ways of looking at things. And while I don't necessarily always agree, he doesn't have to agree with me either. I just look at it as, again, content. Taking it personal, Saggy, is the big problem. When you take it personal, that's when you know that the content creator has you, because you're taking it personally. And you, it's like, I kept thinking about it. I'm like, there's no reason in the world why I should have ever got mad at Saggy, because Saggy knows me already. We're friends. So Saggy is not going to personally call me out because Saggy knows the content of my character. She knows what kind of person I am. So there's no reason for any of that. And it's the same with you and with me too. Any content you put out, to me, I look at it as just content, and I completely support you because you're my friend and you're a fellow content creator. So whether I agree with you or not at that point is absolutely irrelevant because you're not saying anything personal about me. And that's what people need to learn. I don't know. How do you feel about that? I mean, it's
I mean, pretty much. It like I said, it all started. And I want to say too, I love how some people were in like certain chats. Like I watched the streams that you were on, and like people mentioned me, and the things that they were saying is like, oh, Saggy just jumped on this. I was like, yes, because when you're on panels with YouTube content creators like Zod and Enosh and Mad Max, and they all were talking about the Snyder Cut stuff, and I'm new. Like, I just came in on the streams. I just started YouTube, and I was hearing about, they're like, hey, Saggy, do you like DC films? I was like, oh, no, I was more into the TV shows. And my friends like Zod and Enosh and all these people I met were like, you have to watch this movie. You have to watch Batman vs Superman. You have to watch, the Justice League movie because you'll understand why we are pushing for the Zack Snyder cut. And I was like, okay, cool. And I love that you brought up on that stream too, that when I did watch the Snyder cut movie, which by the way, I streamed it on Twitch the whole 4 hours. And after that, I immediately came to ZodWriter's chat, and I was in this like, I saw the movie. And Zod was like, get in here and tell us about it. And I told him how I felt and how it moved me and the whole story behind, why Zack wasn't able to make his films. It moved me and everything. So yeah, like I was new, but that doesn't mean like it felt like people were gatekeeping the fandom. Like, oh, well, she's new, so she has no right to have an opinion. It's like, no, I mean, anyone has a right to make an opinion on the internet. You don't have to like it. That's fine. But as far as like the recent thing, right? Because I want to get to that too, like the whole Saggy's racist. I want to point out when people were coming at me for the comment I made, they didn't care to look at what built up to that comment, right? So we have Ty, who got falsely struck down. And it is false because YouTube disagreed with that false takedown and reinstated the video. But when he was on Twitter, Ty trying to defend himself,
wait. Before you say that, before you tell this story, I just have to clarify and I just have to ask because it happened to me. Did this takedown occur as a result of the issue that YouTube was having? Because again, I don't. It's when a video gets struck down now I have to ask and clarify, especially around this time.
Okay, so no, it wasn't around that time because somebody took credit for doing it. So an account, I have the picture. Hold on, let me see who it was. So a Twitter account admitted that they did report the stream. So it wasn't a false it wasn't the YouTube glitch. It was actually a person who took credit for for hitting it. Give me a second. It was at Snyder Cut Fan admitted right here that they said nothing false about the report I made to YouTube. They have no respect for anyone and are trying to use people's real feelings and concern to gain clout. It is a disgusting way. The fact that you're mocking things like that shows you in a such bad light. So somebody basically took claim to striking the channel, but that's when it was like, okay, that's messed up. But then it went to that Hamad account. Now, all Ty said in response to Hamad was like, just try, you shouldn't take things too seriously on the internet. And in response to that, that's when the race got brought into it. You will never know what it's like to be a brown skinned guy in certain countries. And I was just like, why are you bringing race into this? Where did that have to do with anything? And then Ty was even confused. And he even commented on that thread. He's like, because I commented, I was like, why are you bringing race in this? And Ty was like, I don't even know how to respond to that. Should I even respond? I said, nope, you're a white guy. You can't respond to that. I'm brown. I got you. And that's basically what happened. And my point is, like, yes, was the comment I said, like, probably not the best thing to do? I mean, yeah, but I do tend to bait people a lot. And my point was to prove and get the reaction out of these people. Because again, people don't remember, or maybe you didn't hear, but like some Snyder fans were racist towards me being a black person. And I had called it out before, and I had mentioned it about the toxicity. And then people were like, no, you hang out with Matt Jarbo, and you hang out with all these toxic people. Okay, but that doesn't mean that it was right for people to come to my channel, call me an ugly black chick, call me the N-word, and then tell me to kill myself. But that was my point. And then all of a sudden now people are calling me racist against Middle Eastern and Indian people, which, by the way, I'm not. I actually am far from it. But that's why I made the comment. But of course, again, it was bait. And what happened was exactly what I predicted. That was what I expected, is people calling me racist, people spinning things. And I was like, but where were you guys when it was black people getting attacked by people over the Snyder stuff? You were nowhere. You were silent. But I say it, but you guys already hate me, so it doesn't matter. That's the hypocrisy.
The funniest part for me in all of this is a lot of people, Saggy, you're a beautiful woman, and a lot of people don't realize that you are a black woman. You are a person of color. A lot of people do not understand that. For some reason, they don't think at one point there was someone who had made a comment, I forgot who it was, who actually thought that you were that you weren't even a real person, that you were a sock account for Cole of the Nerd Queens.
Remember that.
I had to, of course, and a lot of people are thinking, oh my God, why does Zod keep white knighting for Saggy? No, I'm not knighting for Saggy, okay? I am speaking up for my friend, and I'm just speaking the truth. So when people came up and said, she's just a sock account for Cole of the Nerd Queens, I had to clear that up right away. I said, listen, she's not. She's a real person, legitimately. I know for a fact. I've had personal conversations with her. I've been on streams with her, on live streams. You can go to her YouTube channel. She is not a sock account of anybody, and she is not anyway in relation to any of them. She's not like that at all. She's her own person. She's like, well, she sounds like that. She has a similar voice to Cole. And I'm like, not really. And that was my thing is you if you don't know somebody, it's easy to jump to conclusions and to do guilt by association, which is something both you and I absolutely hate. Like there's nothing worse on the internet, to me anyway, than guilt by association, because it happens to you, it happens to me, it happens to everybody I know. And the problem is with that is when you have friends on all sides of an argument, it would put you in a tough position if you cared. But I'm at the point where I don't care anymore. Right. I look at it like listen, you guys have gotten me to the point where I know on both sides. Everybody's gotten me to the point where I literally do not care. I'm going to support who I want to support. I'm going to fight for whoever I want to fight for, and I'm going to like what I'm going to like. Saggy's not attacking me because I support Restore the Snyderverse. Saggy has never said anything negative to me about Restore the Snyderverse. Her and I had a misunderstanding, but it wasn't because Saggy legitimately was coming after me about anything. So it was more, I'll admit it was more on my end than it was on her, because at that point I was in my feelings. And that's the other thing. When you start getting in your feelings and you're not thinking, you're just reacting emotionally. And this is why I think a lot of people misunderstand me too, Saggy, because when I go on some of the rants that I do, like when I do Zod live from the couch, I tend to jump on a stream and I'll just start ranting about something. I'm not necessarily thinking about it in a very rational way, and I'm just sort of passionate about it, so I'm going off about it. And when you get caught in your emotions and you get caught in your feelings and that's what people see. That's how they tend to look at you and say, well, this guy is this way, or this guy's a nutcase. That was one of the reasons why I think, like, for example, like Ty from Pop Culture Corner, I think he thought I was a nutcase because the only video he saw of me was a video where was me bugging out, ranting about something and being caught in my feelings about something, versus actually hearing me sit down and actually have a conversation or say something like what we're doing right now, where we're having an actual conversation. We're not screaming at each other. And I think that's where a lot of this kind of stuff can be easily handled. If people actually took the time to stop and think about what's actually being said. Because you can take any comment out of context. You can take any clip out of context. I had so many people unfollow me on Twitter because that clip of me reading those mean tweets towards me was spreading all over the place, and people were basically trying to cancel me as being homophobic because of the voice I was reading the tweets in.
Right.
So you see, I've come to realize that if you can literally take anything out of context if you want to. If you don't have context and all you see is a clip of somebody doing something, and you take it one way or the other, or you take it the wrong way, it's very easy for the misunderstandings.
And I heard that voice before. That's why when I heard, because when people were messaging me, I thought you said something. So I was like, yeah, show me the clip. I want to see what he said. And then it was like, you hear that voice. And I was like, I've streamed with you before when we had the podcast, the PlayStation Plus podcast, even like before. And I'm like,
I've done that voice a ton of times. You've done
that voice before. And that's why I was just like, yeah, that's just the voice he makes. Like when he's like, he's not necessarily calling you guys a sissy because you're gay. It's just like his sissy voice. Like that's like, it was hard to explain, but like I've heard it before. And like, I understand if people haven't heard that voice before, they would assume. And that's why I tried to explain. And I think at the end of the day, like people are so quick to label people things, and that's fine. I've gotten used to it, but that's what I mean. Like it all seems stupid. And the thing is, like with the guilt by association, right? I don't, as long as you're not doing anything criminal, I there's no reason. If people are fighting, if my friends on either side are fighting each other, I stay out of it. Like
you learned.
I can't force people to like each other. I'm not your goddamn mothers. Like I'm just your friend. I will be there for both of you, but like don't drag me into your petty beefs, because to me it's petty. And that's all I say. And now again, like I know certain people unfollowed me because of my associations with Matt Jarbo. And like I'm gonna clarify this here and now because you have the audience that hates me, right? I don't defend the things Matt Jarbo currently says. Like if he says things that you guys are mad about, I don't defend that. What I defend and what I hate is when people dig into people's past and keep using it for an argument that's unrelated. That's the thing.
That happens to me all the time.
Exactly. And that's what I call out. I don't care. You guys can hate Matt Jarbo. You guys can shit on him for the things he currently said that pissed you off. But if you're gonna keep bringing up the polar bear video, if you're gonna keep digging at old,
you know what it is, and I gotta tell you what it is in the Snyder fandom, and this is the major blow for Matt Jarbo. This is the reason why I don't talk to Matt Jarbo, and it was the Autumn Snyder joke that Matt Jarbo made. Okay, he's made jokes about Autumn Snyder more than once. And this last joke that he made, even though it was a joke, was the straw that broke the camel's back for a lot of people. And that's why people are mad at him. It's not because of the stuff that he's saying now, because we've learned as a fandom, we've learned to push that out. If we don't believe that, we don't support what you're saying, we just don't hear it anymore and we don't care. So it's not so much that people are mad at Matt Jarbo for what he's saying and all that. No, it's because of specific things that he said about Zack Snyder's daughter who died by suicide. And that is the reason why people are so angry and so up in arms. And I was
too.
With him.
And that's the crazy thing, is like people were saying I was defending him. I was like, here's the thing. I don't have any obligation to people on the internet to call my friends out publicly. I called him directly and said, what the fuck did you do last night? And then he was explaining it to me, and I was like, bro, even he said, he's like, yeah, Saggy called me and she was pissed. But yeah, when people were saying you're defending, I was like, no, I understood the situation. Like at first I didn't understand, so maybe it looked like I defended him cool. But then when I understood what happened, because people were like, no, you don't understand, Saggy. This is what happened. This is why people are mad. I was like, fuck. And I called him on his phone and said, bro, what the fuck did you do? So like when people were saying Saggy's defending, I'm like, dude, I don't have to explain myself, or not explain myself, but I don't have to publicly call out my friends. I call them and call
people
them out.
Don't know. People don't
do.
know that. Yeah, people don't know that you called him and talked to him about it personally.
Right.
That's the other thing. And my thing is this too. Like the reason why I've stayed mad at him and I've disassociated was because this wasn't the first time that he made an Autumn Snyder joke like this. See, for me, it's like you do it once, okay. You do it twice, maybe I can give it to you, give you some leeway. But I mean, you do it more than that, and it just become an issue where it's like you got to draw the line somewhere. So that's where I'm at personally. I don't, but as far as him as a person, I don't know him like that. So I can't make a judgment on the kind of person he is or isn't offline, because I don't have the kind of relationship with him that you do. So to me but see, that's why I can see why the fandom is the way that they are towards him. It has nothing to do with the things that he's saying now. Nobody cares. It's because of Autumn Snyder, and that very issue is very important to the movement. That's the whole reason it got started in the first
place. That's what bothers me, though, Zod, is that, again, I've had people, and I know they were Snyder fans, because what happened was I got into a slap fight on Twitter, again, defending Matt Darbo, and the same people were saying the same comments on Twitter, and then they came into my chat saying similar comments and then made it worse. And I'm sitting there like, so you guys are Zack Snyder fans, and you know what happened to his daughter, but you're telling somebody else to commit suicide. Like, okay. Like that's when it started, with the whole me going out the fandom and calling out the toxicity.
No, I understand that. I understand that too, but I've had that happen to me too. I've had people tell me to kill myself. And you know what I say when people tell me to kill myself? I tell them I wouldn't be any good at it. I
tell them I die on my time. You don't tell me when I can kill myself. I decide when I can do it.
I love that. I die on my time. I love it.
Die on my time.
You see, but for me, the whole suicide thing is personal, because I have had two close friends that I knew who died as a result of suicide when I was younger, and it's not something that it's not something that anybody likes to think about when they know people that have gone through that. And that's one of the things that's always been so special to me psychologically and in my heart when it comes to the whole Snyder Cut movement. And again, there's things that you can joke about, and there's things that you can say. You could throw all the shade you want at the movement. You can talk all the crap you want. Again, nobody cares about that. And that's the thing. But once you bring up Zack's daughter, knowing what happened, and you start saying things about her, now that's where people are. I think that's like going lower than low, and I don't think that there's a need for that, especially when you base the entire fandom around that. But when somebody says, yeah, Zod, you're useless, you're a creepy homophobe, you creep on women, you're disgusting, go kill yourself. And what do I say? I don't think I would be any good at it.
Yeah, I'm very weird when it comes to talking about other people's kids in general, let alone a tragedy that happened with a kid. Like I said, I because the whole thing is people are saying, oh, he was mocking suicide. He wasn't mocking suicide, but I also do agree that he shouldn't have used that as an example. Like, he could have gotten the same point across without doing the autumn thing, and I've told him that too. I was like, you could have gotten that same point across without like continuing. I was with you on
it's
your
not,
point.
yeah, it's not that you're not. Yeah, I mean, okay, let's be honest. He's a funny guy. He makes jokes all the time.
Right.
That's his shtick. He thinks he's, you know, he does that kind of stuff all the time. He could have made a joke that would have, you know, like you said, had the same impact, but he didn't have to. But by not bringing up autumn, nobody would have cared. Nobody would have thought about it. Nobody would have went after him.
That's not a deal breaker for me, right? A bad joke or joke that I'm like, it's not funny, I don't agree with the joke. That's not like a deal breaker for me. Like if I was to like stop associating with every person who made a bad joke or gave a bad take or said something insensitive, I'd have no fucking friends. Like I'd have no friends because everyone at some point has said something that has offended or upset someone. So I mean, absolutely. Yes, I was mad at him. I called him out on it, but like I'm not gonna disassociate because he has bad jokes here and there, you know. And I mean, I get it. I've never not understood why the fandom wasn't upset with him. Like I was like, you could have kind of poked the bear there. But that's what I mean. It's like at this point, the fandom has become so diluted with toxicity for me personally that like I have no reason to want to believe or trust anything they say, especially when they are calling me and my friends racists and bullies just for having opinions on the internet, doing streams, you know, critiquing other people that they like, and they've made it very unwelcoming for me.
But it's so like that point, with everything, though.
Right.
I'm noticing what you're saying is true,
right?
But the thing I've noticed is it's the same way. If I go into a Twitter thread about this Robert Pattinson Batman movie, and we all know I hated that movie. If I go into that thread and I make a comment about the movie, if I'm not saying that the movie is the best movie in the world, I'm going to get all kinds of hate and I'm going to get attacked. That's just the way the internet works. That's how you and I couldn't agree more with what you said. I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more with what you say. For me, I tend to, for the most part, I try with Twitter, I try really not to engage. I only get involved if it's something that I feel like you know, I have to defend myself or I have to defend somebody else. And that's really the only time. But most of the time, I don't really care what anybody says. But I've gotten to the point where I see it like you got to use common sense when you go into these fandoms that only believe a certain thing. You're essentially, for me, if I go into the Batman thread, I know it's not going to be a welcoming place for me because I don't feel the same way that they do about this movie. But at the same time, I've never crapped on anybody who likes the movie. I've never criticized anyone for liking the movie. I had a guy who was on here not too long ago. Well, not on my stream, but it was on another stream. I think it was, if I'm not mistaken, I think it was Eddie's stream, Eddie Diaz's stream. And Arkham Gaming, I think is his name. He got on. He's a younger guy. I think he's like 21, 22. And he got on and he talked about how he absolutely loves Robert Pattinson's Batman and he hates the portrayal of Ben Affleck and he hates, you know, the whole Snyderverse and all that. And so my question to him was, what is it about Robert Pattinson's Batman that you love so much? What is it about that version that resonates so strongly in you versus, you know, because you absolutely hate the Snyderverse? What's the difference? And he went into all these reasons as to why, you know, I've been reading comic books since I was a kid, and this version of Batman, you know, speaks to me. It's the version of Batman I've always wanted to see, this, that, and the other. And I thought about it because I'm like, you know, when I grew up, you know, the first Batman for me, the first Batman movie that was where Batman was Michael Keaton's Batman in 1989 Batman, right? And so when he was explaining about Robert Pattinson, all the things he was saying clicked in my head. He feels the same way about Robert Pattinson that I do about Ben Affleck, because I feel like Ben Affleck's version of Batman is everything I ever wanted to see from the character of Batman. And I got to, and it made me stop and pause for a moment where I actually had to say, thank you for saying what you said, because this is what I'm talking about. By me hearing that this version of Batman is so important to you, and it resonates with you in that way, that's what I mean by finding common ground. I may not agree with you about Pattinson, but Pattinson wasn't, as a Batman, isn't made for me. Pattinson as a Batman is made for you, made for a younger generation who grew up in a different time and who saw things differently. And you have to start to appreciate these kinds of things. You gotta realize, just because something isn't made for you doesn't necessarily make it the wrong thing.
Please scream it louder, because here's the thing that's the biggest. It's like, Zod, your example you gave early in the stream, for those of you who just tuned in and missed it, is like, first of all, everyone's big mad about movies, and movies are subjective opinions. But my point being is, like, Zod said it best. What you guys are seeing and what's causing this whole thing is like, this is all content for us. We're talking about things we like or things we don't like. It is all opinions. It is all subjective. And everyone's getting mad at subjective opinions and YouTubers using it for content. That's all it is. Like Ty said, don't take it too seriously. If you hear somebody calling the Snyder fandom toxic, if you are not toxic, that does not apply to you. Like Zod said, he thought when I was calling out, he got personally felt. And I'm like, I know you, Zod. I'm not talking about you. And he's like, yeah, that's true. And it's like, exactly. If you are not a toxic person, when we call out the toxic fandom, it's not about you. But some people tend to turn toxic because they get so upset when they hear their fandom is toxic. No, I'm not toxic. I wasn't talking to you. I'm talking to the ones that are toxic, the ones who know who they are, the ones who know what they're doing. And if you're not part of that demographic, I'm not talking to you, not talking about you. It's not that serious. It's not that deep. There's no need. But then people will become toxic because they feel personally attacked.
That's right. And when people say to me, like, there was somebody that had said, when I had, remember when I had I was defending you. I'm always defending you. I don't care, because you're awesome.
You know me.
I know you. I have no, and this is the thing. I don't have any reservations about defending you, because I know who you are, and I care about you. And it's so funny to me, because I had somebody who had said something where, after I had gotten done defending you, they had said, like, well, you're lucky, you're lucky we like you, Zod. I mean, she's totally against, but it's like you said, it's all subjective, and at the end of the day, nobody should really care. Like, I was gonna give an example. I was gonna be like, well, if one day Saggy and I were to get married, the Snyder fandom, would I be kicked out of the Snyder fandom because my wifey is not a fan of the fandom, of the way the fandom conducts itself? Saggy never said she didn't support the Snyderverse continuing.
No, it made me cry.
If it continues, great. If it continues, great. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But at the end of the day, it's like, how do you how do you reconcile all that? I always just look at it as it's just funny.
The biggest problem I have, and I talked to you about this even before I started doing content on it. My biggest issue and concern with the fandom was the obvious grifters. Mm-hmm. And no, I'm not talking about Silks. I heard people call him that. I'm not talking about Sil. I'm just gonna name drop. I wasn't talking about Sil. I don't think Sil's the grifter. But like, certain Twitter accounts out there are 100% grifting off the fandom, and that is what pisses me off the most, because I am, believe it or not, very fan orientated. I think the fans are what really makes a community. So when I see people like, and that's why I said, like, I want you guys to have what you want, because I feel like a lot of you out there deserve it. You're not the toxic ones, but then these people out there will play on you. Like, no one has addressed Geralt of Snyderverse's GoFundMe that is out there.
I did.
No one's addressed that.
I addressed it, and you know what? I don't, and I don't know if you know this. I don't know if anybody knows this, but I've never followed Geralt of Snyderverse. I've never followed Mercury or any of those guys.
Right.
And you want to know why I've never followed them? I hear a lot of things about them, but the thing is, I don't know them. I don't know them.
And
I don't know who they are, and I've never had any interaction with them.
And that's why I told the fandom to question these people. You don't know who they are, but you have one of them asking for over $1,000. And the people were donating, and they were using the Snyder Cut movement to get that money. And I called it out and said, why is no one questioning why this faceless person on Twitter is asking fans for over $1,000?
It was definitely sus to me, and that's why I was just like, listen, because I remember when you told me, you actually brought it to my attention, because I didn't know, because I don't follow them. See, that just goes to show you that I'm not toxic. I don't follow these guys. I have no idea.
And that's why I was calling out, and I'm like, what is wrong with these guys? And you have people coming to defend them, and I'm like, but why are you not questioning this GoFundMe? They're asking the fans for money, bro.
I don't. Listen, I support AFSP, of course. I support my fellow content creators and my friends. I don't, if I like something like that, I could never donate to it because I don't know who those people are. And here's the thing. If Geralt of Snyderverse, and this is the thing, I'm an OG in the Snyder Cut movement. I've been there since day one. Okay. I was there with Fiona. I was there with all the major people back in the day. I was there day one. All right. I still to this day have no idea who Mercury or Geralt of the Snyderverse is. I know they have a big following, but I don't know them. And because I don't know them, because I know just about everybody else who was there from the beginning, who was an OG, I'm friends with just about all of them. Okay. And when you know who the players are, you can support them because you trust them. And if you believe in what they're doing and what they're saying, you don't have that problem. But when it comes to those two guys, because they never reached out, because I don't know who they are, and something about the way they do things just kind of rubs me the wrong way. So I never supported them. Never. And it's factual. So when Saggy brought it to my attention about that, I was just like, I have no idea.
People lied and said that Geralt of Snyderverse never promoted that GoFundMe. I Googled it to see if the GoFundMe was still up, and it linked me directly to their Twitter account where they're promoting the GoFundMe. So again, when I called this out, people were calling me a bully, saying that I was attacking them. I was like, no, I was calling them out because it was hella sus that they were asking for $2,000 for and they didn't explain what the money was for. It was some bullshit reason. And I'm like, don't donate to this. And I try to look out for them. I'm like, listen, y'all do what you want your money, but question these guys. They're using the fandom for themselves, not for the movement. And that's what was pissing me off the most.
Where I think they made their mistake personally, and this is just, was that they never put an actual face to what they were. Like they're just, to me, they're just faceless Twitter people at this point. You don't know who they are, right? One's got a picture of Henry Cavill as Geralt from The Witcher, and then Mercury's just got like an African American dude, superhero looking dude that kind of looks a little bit like Cage from the Marvel universe.
Right.
I don't know. Like I said, I don't know these guys. I don't know who they are, and that's the reason why I never had any interest in that. I've never been one to follow, cult of personalities on Twitter. You have to be somebody. You have to have a presence somewhere for me to buy into it. And like I said, because I'm an OG in the original Release the Snyder Cut movement, I knew all the players at the beginning because I was there. When those guys, they came out of nowhere. After the cut was, they weren't around. Most people don't realize this. They weren't around in the early days when Release the Snyder Cut was trending and all that. They came later on. Exactly. And they came after to be the new faces of Restore the Snyderverse. But the mistake was they never put a face to the names. You just see faceless cartoons on Twitter. You don't know who they are.
Asking for money.
They could be anybody, and they're asking for money, and you don't know what the plans are. Because here's the thing. We did a lot of, back in my day, sound like an old man. Back in my day, we did a lot of campaigns. We did the plane over Warner Brothers. We did, all these, different things, Comic Cons and different things, and those were all coordinated. And here's the thing: everybody knew who everybody was. So when you donated money, even if you donated anonymously, you donated money because you knew and trusted the people who were running the campaigns. Because I don't know, and I don't know. If I don't know you, I can't trust you.
Exactly.
I have to be weary of it because I've seen a lot of scams on the internet. Okay.
Exactly.
So you got to know who you're talking to. So when Saggy came to me about them, it wasn't a surprise to me because I didn't know who they were. It just was something I wasn't aware of.
Right.
Because I don't pay attention.
That was my biggest concern when I saw that, because here's the thing. I forget who forwarded it to me, but we did a spaces on Twitter, and then we were talking about those accounts, and then somebody DM'd me and said, "Did you know that Geraldo Snyderverse has a GoFundMe asking for $2,000?" And I was like, "No, what's it for?" So they linked me to it, and I read the description. I was like, "This is bad." And they already started earning money. That's what I started reaching out.
Back in the day, we would have had, there would be an actual, if we ever did, because we had campaigns, and when we had campaigns, there was always a name on the campaign. So you always knew who was controlling it. At the time, in the early days of the movement, when we were doing the early money campaigns, I think it was Will Rollins who was running the financial part of it back then. And then we always had some names of people who were prominent, who we knew we could trust, who were doing the whole thing and were facilitating it all for planes or whatever. And the thing is that, you don't have a problem giving and trusting. At least me, I can't speak for other people. I don't know if, and I don't want to believe that, Geralt of Snyderverse or Mercury have ill intent, but then again, I don't know them.
Oh, 100%.
So I can't judge them. I can only go off of what I'm being told.
Zod,
when you came to me, I was like, there you go. So
you can literally look at what they're doing on Twitter and realize the grift. And that's what it is, because they needed to hang on to the movement. Because again, this is a pattern that happens in all communities, all movements. You fight for something good, you get what you want, and then the story goes dry, and then you have the people who try to milk it for everything it's worth, and then there'll be people who will move on, and then there'll be people who will fight each other. That's literally the formula of every movement I have ever seen on the internet. But I will say too, I see a lot of people in the chat, and I saw that y'all were by the way, I'm just gonna do some call outs on some people because we gotta get some spice. Okay, this has been too nice and civil, Zod. We've been too civil. Y'all in the chat who were literally agreeing with people saying that I'm racist, fuck you. Because y'all know damn well that's not true. Like, I saw somebody in the chat when somebody said she's Islamophobic. When somebody said that and somebody was like, "Oh well, I'm Islamic and that's awful." Like, no, I'm not. I made a comment to prove a point. If y'all don't get that point, that's fair. But to label me something without even knowing me is pretty bitch made.
Yeah. You really shouldn't. And this is my thing. People are making those assumptions because they don't know you. Just like Ty Ty from Pop Culture Corner was making a lot of assumptions that I was straight up evil because he didn't know me. He didn't know me. He didn't know where I was coming from. He didn't know what my history was or anything. And this is what I'm saying. When you go in blind and you don't know somebody, you know, you're gonna jump to conclusions because that's just the way that
But you know what's worse than
humans
that,
are. You know, it's
what's
crazy.
worse than that? What's worse than that is somebody who does know you, who is agreeing with the mob. That's my biggest pet peeve. That somebody who knows you, who's known you for a long time, and you see that person agreeing with people calling me a racist, and I'm sitting there like, but aren't you the person who had people coming at you for dropping the N-word with the hard R? And guess who came to your defense? The black chick. But okay, we won't go there, Zeno. Okay, we won't go there, Zeno. I saw your ass too when people were calling me racist. Sounds like her. Yeah. So I'm not surprised. Yeah, you're the one who is in Belle Reeves' Discord dropping the N-word with the ER in it, and I was the one who came to your defense. But you are not surprised, right? Please don't play games with me. I'm not afraid of calling people out because that was some bullshit, and Zeno knows me. That was the most disappointing thing about that is that Zeno knows me. He was my first mod to my channel, and he was my friend for a while. And seeing him in that chat, agreeing with people calling me a racist, was the most two-faced thing I've ever seen. And that is why Zeno and me don't get along, and why Zeno has no problem shitting on me when he has a chance. But let's just be real, Zeno. The black girl came to your defense when you said the N-word with the hard R. Remember that.
Well, does that so I guess with that being said, I gotta ask you, does that offend you? Because you defend people who say that, so does that offend you? I mean,
no, that word does not offend me. I understand it offends other people, and that's fair. But like, I blame myself because for me, I have allowed that comfortability to like that word for me personally is just a word. I've gone to the point where it doesn't offend me anymore because that was the intent of that word. So I have unfortunately had some people be comfortable saying that word around me because I'm not offended, but they also feel like they can say that elsewhere and other people won't get offended. It's like, no, it doesn't work. Like when we talk about, and I'll just give the thing, like every black person is different when it comes to racism, right? And by racism, I only say racism. Every black person is different when it comes to the N-word. Okay, so you'll have black people who are cool with white people, and they're fine with their white friends saying the N-word with the A. Now that is their comfortability, but that does not mean that white person can say that to other black people. It's like, yo, you can say that around me because we're homies, but you can't go out and say that to some strange black guy because you'll get your ass kicked. That's how it works. So for me, I'm comfortable with people saying whatever they want around me because I've learned to not let racism hurt me anymore. I've learned to let racist people not affect me because that is what their goal is. They want to offend. They want to hurt you. So why would I let that word hurt me anymore? Like, I understand it's not right to say, but at the same time, again, why do I have to let racist people win and have power over me? Because they don't have power over me and they want to. That's why when they say that word to me, I laugh in their face and I say, that's all you've got? Funny. And I would just laugh because again, when you let these people use this word to hurt us, why am I going to let them hurt me? They don't control me. They have no power over me. I'm not going to let a word make me feel controlled. So that, to answer the question, no, I don't get offended by that word.
And Zeno responded to what you said. Zeno says, I never said she was racist. I know she's not. I said what they told she said was what they told she said was something she would say. I know Saggy, she has a mouth and would say offensive things to people.
She didn't disagree, Zeno. Like, come on, dude. Like, I get what you're saying, but come on, dude. You know me and you know that I say offensive things. You could have just said that. But you were like, yeah, no, I'm not shocked that she said something racist or this, that. Like, come on, dude. You could have, like, let's be real. Let's be real, Zeno. Like I said, when you said something ignorant in a Discord where people were offended, I was like, that's my fault because he said it around me and I'm fine with it. I took blame for you, bro. And you know what that makes me look like? a racist sympathizer, which is what I get called a lot too. So like I said, cool, you might say that, but at the same time, like, this is my thing. I don't care if people support people who don't like me, but if you're gonna dogpile on me with the rest of the mob, like what is the point, bro? That's what frustrates me about people online. It's annoying when people do that to me. It's like, bro, you know I'm not this thing, but you're okay with people saying it. And like, if you're not going to defend me, which is cool, you don't have to, but at the same time, you're not going to like correct them and you know it's not true, then don't say anything at all. Like, that's why I love Rhea, because she watches all these streams and she sees people talk shit about me. She don't say a goddamn thing. She's just like, so I'm gonna play Pokemon tonight, guys. And I'm just like,
right. She'll post a
that's my girl.
We'll be in a thread and she'll just drop something. Yeah, it's so great. It's so great.
That's my girl. Rhea does neutrality right. She will watch everybody, and when she sees people shitting on people, she also likes, I want to play Pokemon tonight. Did you guys see the new game that came out? She don't talk shit to anyone. That's why Rhea is brilliant. The best.
Yes, he's the best. I
Rhea
love Rhea
is the best.
too.
Rhea needs to be fantastic. A 2K channel, not me.
I could see it, and she does do a lot of fun streams. Let's see. Racism isn't words or jokes; it's a lifestyle. Yes, that's one way.
Yeah, exactly, and that's why I say, like, I know when a black person says that, it's like weird because people are like, oh, she's not offended by the N-word. It's like, nah, dude. Like, why? Why would I? I used to be offended, and when I was offended by it, I realized that the racist person who said it to me won. They got what they wanted out of me. They wanted my reaction, and I gave it to them. So I stopped giving them the reaction so they couldn't have power over me. And that, like, we can argue about that, but yeah, either way, even if you say the N-word with the A's, you know, it's still not something that people, and again, that's why I defended you, because I allowed you to say it in my Discord with me. So I said, listen, that's my bad. Don't be mad at him. He's not saying it to be racist. I defended you because I know you're not racist, you know. But that's why I got mad at you when I saw his comments. I'm like, bro, what are you doing? You know these people are calling me an Islamic phobe and a racist, and you know that's the furthest from the truth. I love everybody, no matter what color you are, what religion you believe in. I love everyone. I don't love assholes, and assholes are not limited to any specific race, guys. So if you're an asshole, it has nothing to do with your skin color or religion. You're just a fucking asshole.
That was beautiful, Saggy. You know, I'm getting aroused again. I have to calm down.
Marcus Shy. I almost say Marcus Shy.
Yeah.
But that's what I mean. You get what I'm saying?
Shy says Zod is a racist.
And cup them out. Like, I saw your comments too. When people were calling me racist, you were in there like, wow, really? I'm like, bro, you've watched me. Come on.
No. This is the reason why we're doing this, to clear it all up, because I'm tired of hearing it. I listen, people, you guys have to understand. I'm going to defend Saggy Melonz to my dying day, and it has nothing to do with whether I agree with Saggy or not. It has to do with Saggy has every right to say what's on her mind. And as her tagline always implies, she is the drama. And if you can't deal with that, just don't watch her content. That's pretty much
I say it all the time. I don't know why people are so mad at me. Don't listen to me. If you think that I'm stupid or I'm ignorant or I'm dumb, why'd you listen to me then? Like, I don't understand why you want to listen to somebody who you think is dumb. Like, I don't get that. If you think I'm stupid, why are you listening to a stupid person? It makes no sense. And I saw, who was it? I think it was El Necron. I hope I did butcher your name. El Necron made a comment earlier that said, who wants to listen to a bunch of YouTubers yelling at each other? The internet does, because if that was not the case, I wouldn't be a 2,000 sub channel. They love it. They love it.
Yeah, you're going to be, by the end of the year, Saggy's going to be at 5K subs, because Saggy knows what the internet wants. She gives the streets what they want. Okay, listen, I'm happy being a little talk show host, doing my little Q&As. I'm not trying to ruffle feathers, but the drama is what sells. And we got Sharon Peters here saying, hey, girlfriends. And she says, speak for yourself, girlfriend. I love a-holes as long as they're shaved. Sharon, you are
Fair.
awesome.
Fair.
Sharon,
Fair.
you are the best.
That's
Sharon
fair.
is like the comic relief of my channel. She comes in and gives the levity whenever it's needed, and you got to admit it is so awesome. What's up, console fanboy? Good to see you. Thank you for.
By the way, Dildo Gaggins, I don't create drama. I insert myself in drama that's already started. There's a huge difference. There's no drama I start. I just insert myself in everyone's drama.
Oh yeah, yeah. Your quantum TV streams are fantastic. Sometimes, Saggy, I'll be working or I'll be doing something I have to do in life, and I'll just put on your stream and just listen to all the stuff you're saying, and it's just so entertaining and fun, and you just call it out, and you do what you do, and you do it so well. I mean, it doesn't surprise me that you're an over 2K channel, because definitely.
I insert myself in drama. If I smell it and it's an interesting drama, I'm like, ooh, I'm covering that, and I'm putting my 2 cents in there. Because some of the drama is actually something I'm interested in, and I'm like, ooh, this seems interesting. I want to give my takes on it. But yeah, that's kind of what it is. Like, I don't create the drama. I just insert myself into it, which is what people like. People don't like somebody inserting themselves in drama, which is fine and fair criticism, but I don't create it. Like, I'm not fabricating drama for the sake of clicks. I see drama on my timeline. I see it with my friends. I see it with other YouTube content creators covering certain topics, and I will talk about it and put my 2 cents, and that's
right. It. Right. And Mask of Shy says, true, Saggy is more like a ninja messing around with everyone. Mask of Shy is awesome. Like, he's one of the most awesome artists I've seen on the internet, and he's summing up Saggy really, really good right now. That was great.
Because Mask of Shy knows me, and like a lot of people who watch me, like, they've kind of understood how I do my content and how I am. So yeah, I'm gonna have moments when I'm crazy because I'm getting passionate or emotional about something. Like, that's normal. But at the same time, like, there are moments where I am just poking bears because I'm getting the reaction out of the people that I want the reaction from.
And I got a $4.99 super chat here from Console Fanboy, my brother from another mother. He says, Saggy, I get people telling me to kill myself too. If they say that to you, Saggy, you just tell them that you're dead to them, and that should be enough.
I tell them I'm dead inside already.
I've actually heard you say that to people, so that's absolutely true.
Inside, I already killed myself inside myself.
And we've got Marvel Mania here. RJ, what's up, man? Says Zod. I hope you know we're still cool as always. I may have disagreements with Syl and Mikey and how they go about their reporting from a journalistic perspective, but Zod, as always, been cool. Yeah, RJ, again, I've never had any issues with you, and that's another funny part too. I see, the whole split between people that are on the side of Casey Walsh and Matt Jarbo, and people who are on the side of Mikey Sutton and Syl Abdul, and it seems like it's a war between scooping ideologies, essentially. And for me, I consider Syl Abdul to be one of my best friends. He's one of my best friends that I ever met online. We started out streaming together when I was still doing PSN radio. I wasn't even a YouTuber. I was still doing internet radio. And most people who watch my channel know that I basically started the Four Nerds, put us together, and that's how Syl and I became good friends and got to know each other really, really well. So much like Saggy Melonz, I will defend Syl Abdul till the end of time. He's like a brother to me. And so when I don't necessarily take it personally when people are attacking Syl and Mikey, but at the same time, what I don't like about when people attack Syl and Mikey is that they don't actually pay attention to what Syl and Mikey say. What they do is they take little things out of context, use that and get mad about it and make videos about it and go after them about it. And I've gotten to the point where that doesn't bother me either, because like I said at the top of the show, it's just content.
Right.
So regardless of how you feel about something, if it's not personal, as long as it's just content, nobody cares, because let's be honest, the people that believe what Matt Jarbo and Casey Walsh are saying are going to believe what Matt Jarbo and Casey Walsh are saying regardless. Sil and Mikey are not going to change those people's minds, and those and the people that believe in what Sil and Mikey are saying are not going to have their minds changed by Casey Walsh and Matt Jarbo. So that's what it is.
Well, that's another thing too, Zod.
You know,
but that's another thing too, Zod. Like, people assume our relationships just because we follow people on Twitter. Like, I don't know Casey Walsh like that. I do Twitter spaces with him. We seem to be on the same page with things, but like, I don't know him like that. But people are like, oh, she's friends with Casey Walsh. Like, I don't know him like that. Also, I want to point out that, like, when this whole like feud started with Sil and Mikey and, you know, RJ and Jarbo and everything, I talked to Sil and he was like, I'm might do a stream about this. I was like, you should. Drama will bring you a lot of views. Like, go for it. Like, power to you. It's all fair game.
Yeah,
like,
that's what it was. That was the whole idea behind like the clapback Saturday thing. And I was in
support of it.
It was all just about content and clapping back. In the end, again, content. It's what YouTubers do. They need content, right? Don't we need content? Not everybody can be a talk show host like me.
Exactly.
That's my position. My position is talk show host. Saggy's position is drama. You know, RJ, you know, you guys, everybody does what they do, and we should all support each other, essentially.
And I told Sil, like, it's all fair game. If they can talk about you and criticize you, like, do it. It'll be a great drama stream. Like, do it up. I was in support of that. Mind you, again, this is somebody who's like, again, in the middle. I was like, yeah, do the whole clapback, whatever. Like, do it. I'm like, why are you telling me? Like, here's the weird part too about Sil is like, Sil is like, I don't do the drama. I was like, well, Sil, maybe you should once in a while, because if people are gonna give you shit on the internet, like, dish it back. And I was in support of Sil doing that. I'm still in support of Sil clapping back at people. Now, again, I can't control how people feel about each other, but I could sit there and be like, yeah, if you want to talk shit about these people, like, go for it. They're going to talk shit back to you, and that's what it is. Who cares? I don't care. And
personally though, I prefer having friends than enemies. I've always been a lover and less of a fighter. My thing is that it's just kind of it gets difficult sometimes when you see so many of your friends on opposite sides of the spectrum, and that's where and that's again what makes it difficult. And I like what RJ says here. He says, I'm not even that close with Casey. I think he can be an a-hole sometimes and pokes the bear too much as Snyder fans, and it isn't very nice in the way he disputes. Don't blame people for not liking him. Yeah, and that's the thing. And if you look at it as a content thing, as just a content thing, behind the scenes, all these YouTubers who are feuding with each other should essentially be feuding with each other, but supporting each other at the same time, because it's all content. No, it's not personal. And that's the point that I've always tried to steal, and I've said it like 50 times tonight, and I feel like I'm repeating myself constantly, but it's true. I mean, it is just. But by the way, Zod,
I have to answer Integrity before I forget. So Integrity, I did unblock you, but Zeno can even attest to this. YouTube has a weird glitch with me where even if I block you and I unblock you, I will never see your name pop up again. And I have tried to contact YouTube support about this, and they have yet to resolve it. I actually, when me and Mad Max were feuding, I blocked him too. I never can see him chat anymore. He's like gone for me. I have to log into my gaming channel account to see people. So I did unblock you. It's just YouTube is broken. And lately I've been super busy with real work and YouTube. I barely have checked my email, so I do apologize for that. But I will get back to it. Like I will get back to you in my emails. But we're cool. I just want to make sure you knew. Like I did unblock you.
Absolutely.
It's just YouTube is just broken to hell.
Oh yeah. Well, we could talk a little bit about how broken YouTube is, because speaking of feuds and internet beefs and issues, this is actually a great story, and you touched a little bit on it on one of the streams you did recently. Sharon Peters says, "I'm thinking about joining Twitter." Sharon, if you join Twitter, I will be your first subscriber.
Don't do it,
automatically.
Sharon.
You are awesome. And Constant Fanboy says, "Isn't it weird? Every community has drama. It's crazy." Yeah. And RJ says, "I thought the Scooby Gang stuff was hilarious. That's why Kaden and I embraced it." Yeah, it was meant to be funny. It was meant to be, it's silly. It's goofy. It's just like I said when a couple of people made a video not too long ago about me and Sil during this entire thing and called us tragic clowns. And I said today on a stream I was on, we're not tragic clowns, we're Voltron. I've been posting pictures of us as a group as like Voltron and forming the big robot and that kind of thing. And I just think it's funny. It's good for content. It's funny. But at the end of the day, like I said, I'd rather be friends with people than be perceived enemies just because we disagree about some movies. It's really to me fascinating how this kind of hatred festers and degenerates when it doesn't need to. Sharon Peters says, "My position is doggy style." It's my favorite too, Sharon. I like that a lot. What about you, Saggy?
Real woman, I'm questioning your gender.
Yeah, Sharon's definitely a woman.
She has that sex drive like a guy, though. By the way, Integrity, I checked my email. I didn't see it. Was it my saggymelonz@gmail.com or was it my YouTube one? Because I'm looking and I'm not seeing it. It could have got filtered in because I get a lot of email notifications from YouTube and stuff, so it might have got filtered. So again, I do apologize.
Yeah, you guys got to be careful with your comments too. YouTube has been filtering comments out, and I can't tell you how many times somebody has come to me and said, you delete my comments. And it's like, I don't delete any comments.
Yeah, YouTube
will automatically delete comments if they see something that falls into that filter where they delete it. There's certain things, certain phrases, certain words YouTube looks for, and they just delete automatically. We don't even have to do it anymore. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's a little wild.
But we had a situation that happened a couple days ago where YouTube had a glitch where it was taking down people's YouTube live streams for no reason. It was
that was weird.
And because a bunch of us were feuding, we were all pointing the finger at each other. We were like, "Oh,
yeah,
it was you. No, it was you, you scumbag."
Yeah.
And the funny part about it, the thing that I laugh about now was when I went on YouTube, Twitter. I'm getting confused. Because I'm getting so aroused being around Saggy, I have that issue. We were on Twitter, and I snapped. I was like, because we were feuding so bad that I snapped and said, "What? I can't do my Q&As. I can't do anything. It has nothing to do with you or your BS." And you know what? The people I accused were the ones who responded to me in a good way. It's basically said, "No, Zod, nobody flagged your stuff. It's the YouTube glitch." I had no idea. I didn't know anything about it. But I will say this. I had nothing but respect for them when they pointed out to me what was actually happening. Because I had no reason to not believe them, because so many people were saying it. So many people were coming in saying, "Hey, nobody flagged your video. This happened to so-and-so. This happened to you." And then when you came in, Saggy, and you said your part too, I knew. I'm like, yeah, it's cool. And that's when I respected the people that had come in and said it. And I'm like, see, this is how you know that it's not a real feud.
They also didn't know that they would get blamed for it too. like dead ass. They were like, we're gonna get blamed. It wasn't us. We gotta make sure.
They didn't want to get blamed. They didn't want to get blamed because it wasn't them. And I can totally understand that, because it wasn't them. It wasn't us either. And that's the thing. Right. It was like nobody does that. I learned my lesson, because I got mad with the pop culture corner thing. I kind of took it personally because they didn't know me and they went at me pretty hard. And I did a copyright strike against Pop Culture Corner. And for a couple, it was like a day or two. It was for like a day or two, and people were making jokes about me. And at some point, somebody said something in one of the comments section,
do that,
like, "Oh, what would you do if you were God?" And somebody said, "Well, if Zod was God, you'd probably get a strike." And so people were, kind of giving me crap about the copyright strike. And this was me being naive when it comes to YouTube and not knowing about all the proper etiquette and stuff. And it's like, I remember talking to Mad Max, and Max being like, "Zod, you never strike another content creator. No matter what, it's just content. They're just, they can comment on your stuff. Don't. So we talked about it. And then what did I do? I immediately went to YouTube and got them to remove the strike, and started talking to Ty, and kind of got everything resolved. And so to me it was like, at that point I legit didn't know. And when I talked to Max, I was like, "No, it's a big no. It's like, yeah, you're right, because I don't want to be that guy. It's like, I don't want to be that guy. It's like, no thanks."
Yeah, the YouTube community, when it comes to striking channels, it's a big deal. Like, and that's a big deal. That's why when they false flagged Ty's channel, and they're like, "Oh, it was completely fair," and I'm like, "No, it wasn't. You can't flag down criticism and call it bullying and harassment. That's not how it works." All he said was like, and I'm sorry, but like, that's what I mean about people. Like, when you say people take things personally, that all started because people took the whole thing about saying that there were bots used to boost the Snyder Cut with the cheer and the Oscars. Like, people like, now they're saying we're bots. Like, no. We're not saying you guys were bots. We're saying that at some point, maybe somebody could have potentially used bots. It does happen. And it's not like the biggest, like, it's not a huge deal. Well, it is a huge deal because it's cheating. But at the same time, like, nobody was saying that you guys were bots or you are dehumanizing you. Like, there are people who are like so passionate and so like want the recognition. Like, if somebody was to use bots, I would say, and this is why I don't know where that whole thing came from, but I feel like if somebody used bots to make that happen, I feel like somebody would be so egotistical to take credit for that. Like, yeah, I did that. I got the Zack Snyder thing to be number one. Because like I said, anyone who's willing to do that are pick-me's. Like, they're like, hey, I want to be noticed too. I want to be, and I think that's why like Ty and Ardu are like mocking it, because it was like, it was absurd. Even when I came back and saw the story, I was like, it's absurd that anyone would take that personally as a personal attack on them. Then they're putting like bots in their names and stuff. And I'm like, y'all took that way too hard, like to the heart. It wasn't about you. It was about somebody potentially doing that. And it wasn't about you. It wasn't saying you guys did it as a whole collectively. It wasn't that we were calling y'all bots. It was just the fact that bots could have been used. It wouldn't be the first time it's happened in the history of voting.
Well, the whole thing about that whole debacle that got me is people were not taking into account the source, which is the guy that wrote the article, Humberto Gonzalez. Humberto has a reputation of making stuff up, of out and out lying, of being just doing things for malicious and nefarious reasons. He's got a history of this. So the thing is, and what a lot of people constantly leave out when they talk about this is that the article was behind a paywall. So it was part of a grift. It was part of a grift. It was part of a. The whole thing was. So I never understood. But as far as the bots thing goes, and the thing that bothered me about it was, people don't realize that other movie, Cinderella, was winning, and Cinderella got disqualified by the Academy because they found out that bots were being used for getting Cinderella to the top. So if it wasn't about bots, okay, if bots were really involved, Cinderella would have won, not Zack Snyder.
Right. So which would have been dumb anyways, because I didn't see no Cinderella movie.
Yeah, they were using bots, and people forget, people leave that out, that Cinderella got disqualified or just didn't know or didn't care to investigate it.
But that's the thing, Zod. People, like, again, we're talking about content. So when people read articles like that, like, they're going to talk about it. And they're going to give their thoughts on it because, like, it made people think, right? And people who are, like, I guess, anti-Snyder, we'll say that, are going to, like, take that and be like, you know, maybe that happened, or they'll speculate or talk about it. But then, like I said, it was the reaction of the other side where they took it personal as, like, an attack on them. And I'm like, no. Again, opinions are subjective. Stop taking everything as if it's literally targeted to you, because it's not. If you're feeling like I'm talking about you, then I don't know, maybe you are the shitty person I'm talking about at the end of the day, because I'm not specifically calling you out by name. I call people out by name. I'm not afraid to. So if I have issues with somebody, I will call you out by name.
That's right.
Really that's simple. Right. So if you think I'm talking about you, you will know I'm talking about you, because I will say, yes, bitch, I'm talking about you. You over there in the corner, yes, you. You in the white shirt, you too.
Thank you for the like. Much appreciated. Listen, I feel like Saggy gets a bad rep because people don't know. I feel like I get a bad rep because people don't know. And you, yeah, you know, I happen to like your mouth, Saggy. It's just, you know. Anyway, yeah, it's true. It's the way that it is, and you know, you just have to understand that content is content and try not to take it so seriously.
And opinions are like assholes. We all have one, guys.
Yeah.
Maybe some people don't. I don't know. If you don't have an asshole, I'm so sorry.
That's a problem. Especially if you're a human being and not a bot. That's definitely.
I still can't believe anyone would use bots to help Cinderella win. I didn't see that movie and it looks stupid. Why would anyone want that movie to win? That had to have been a troll, because there's no way. I'm thinking about it now. I'm like,
there was probably 40 tech savvy trolls who liked the Cinderella movie.
No way. There's no way. No way. If I had a choice between Cinderella and a movie like the Justice League, like, come on. Like, I hate to say this, and I know this is going to sound very bad, and please nobody cancel me for this, but, like, Cinderella, the Justice League, I feel like even the Justice League would be more relevant than Cinder-fucking-rella. And I hate Josh Whedon with a passion, but I would have voted for that movie over Cinderella because that movie looked garbo. And I'm just like, oh, like what? Who would bought that fucking movie? How could that movie even come close to freaking Zack Snyder's Justice League? I am like, how?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't get it. Trash.
I don't know either. So, and this is what a lot of people need to understand about you too. And I'm speaking directly to my fellow Snyder Cut fandom people. Saggy liked Zack Snyder's Justice League. Okay, she loved it. She supports it. She thought it was great. She came to me. I was the first person she came to, and she was so excited to come to me after she watched that movie because she knows where I was in the movement, because her and I were streaming together and doing things together during that time. So, I mean, you gotta just, whatever.
I cried when I watched it, but like I said, I will say this a million times. Like, my biggest issue with people like wanting Zack to do like the Snyderverse to happen was, like, in the beginning was mostly because WB did not deserve Zack. That was my thing. Like, they don't deserve Zack. And I know the whole merger was a thing, but, like, my big thing with the merger and my biggest fear with the merger was, like, okay, so WB was trash. Oh, but Saggy, new people are going to come in. Okay, but I don't know if that new person is going to be better or fucking worse for him. Because, like, I know when it comes down to these businesses, it's about money. And if Zack is not making them the money that they want to put in their little greedy pockets, they're not going to have him come back. And that's what pisses me off so bad, is Zack deserves to have creative freedom to make whatever movie he wants. As long, he should be able to make a Justice League movie that's 8 hours fucking long without anyone telling him he can't. Because I think that's, Zack has a great vision when it comes to movies and storytelling. And he knows how to make it dark and entertaining. And that's why it made me mad. And that's why I kept saying to like the fandom, I'm like, y'all shouldn't want him to make movies for WB, because WB fucked him and they didn't even care. Like, the fans had to, if the fans didn't push, they would have just kept it moving. The fans are the reason why it happened. And that's what makes me so mad, and still makes me mad, that like, why would anyone want Zack to go back to that stupid bullshit company? Like, that's what initially pissed me off, is before the merger and everything was happening, everyone's like, oh no, WB, let him come back and make the movies. It's like, fuck WB. Don't make those motherfuckers money after the fact that they like, I don't understand what kind of like insensitive fucks could be like, this director's daughter passed away in a very bad way, and we're going to let him take his time off to mourn and deal with that. But we're going to have this piece of shit Joss Whedon finish the movie. And then when Zack comes back like, hey, like, I want to finish my movie like the way I wanted to do it, they're like, no, we already did it. We already made our money. We're good, Zack. Like, sorry. And I was just like, fuck you, WB. Fuck you and your fucking family for that shit. Because, like, I would pray to God that no one at WB experienced what Zack did and then be told that you can't come back to work, bro. Like, fuck you. Talk about a kick in the friggin' teeth. And that's what pissed me off and still pisses me off, that when the fans were always like, we'll come back, WB, I was like, fuck WB. Fuck everything they stand for doing that shit to Zack. Y'all should want Zack to do better and have better than that bullshit. And like I said, I understand the merger, but Zaslav, he might be a piece of shit too. I don't fucking know him. None of us know him. We're just hoping that he does the smart thing and it's like, well, we want money. Well, Zack's a good director. Let's have him come back and make some more movies, DC movies. But I'm not going to bank on that. Because again, these are business people. When you're dealing with business people, they don't care about the fans. They care about your money. We're just numbers and dollar signs to them. And that's what pisses me off. And that's why I say, like, Zack is doing good where he's at with Netflix right now. We'll see how long that lasts, because Netflix is doing some crazy shit over there too. But that's my biggest pet peeve with this whole Snyder stuff, is like, that makes good movies. He deserves so much better than fucking WB.
The only thing I will add to that, because I agree with just about everything you've said, but the only thing that I will add to that maybe you're unaware of, is that Zack himself has told the fans to keep pushing. That's why they keep pushing.
Zack shouldn't be doing that, because Zack deserves better. And I know that's the thing that pissed me off too. Like, cool, but Zack, you are a great storyteller. You make good movies. I like all of his movies. I like Sucker Punch. I even like Batman vs. Superman.
I would go one step further, as to say, Saggy, if Zack were to tell us right now, guys, it's over, stop pushing for it, just focus on my Netflix stuff, you're hearing it from the man himself. You're going to stop. There's no reason to keep going.
He shouldn't even want to go back.
But with him telling us that keep fighting, never stop, and he's pushing it, this is why, because people, we're listening directly to Zack himself. And that I tell everybody, you don't have to listen to Sil Abdul, you don't have to listen to Mikey Sutton, you don't have to listen to me, you don't have to listen to the pro Snyder people or the anti-Snyder people. Just go on Vero Social, follow Zack Snyder, and read some of his threads, and you'll know why we fight.
No, I get it. It's just Zack shouldn't want to work for that shitty company there. I wouldn't want to give them money. Honestly, like, dead ass. I would not want to be the person making them money. I know he gets paid too, but like, I wouldn't want to give anyone of that company money, bro. Like, your daughter passed away and you had to deal with that. And that's hard for a parent to lose their child. Like, the parents kids aren't supposed to die before their parents, right? And especially that's the way Autumn died. And it's like, bro, I would be like, fuck WB. I don't want to make them a single penny. I know he wants to tell his story, and I get that, guys, but like, again, fuck WB. Like, that's the most disgusting thing you can do to somebody when they have a tragedy, and you're just like, nah, we're good. Like, we don't need you to come back and make your movie. Like, bro, don't you think that would have maybe helped him get through that, because like that never goes away. Like when you lose a family member like that close, especially, that pain doesn't go away. He's never gonna get to see Autumn grow up. You know, there's a lot of things that he probably, like, sometimes he'll probably just wake up one night or see something that reminds him of her and start bawling. Like, that would have been a good distraction for him to kind of like have that out there and do something. And if she liked his work and liked that he was doing the movie and excited for it, like, yeah, let him finish it. Like, there's so many things that pisses me off about this situation, and which is why I was always like, guys, like, I think he should move on and do other things, because fuck WB for what they did to him.
That's the truth. He is doing other things as well, so it's which is a great thing. And I think that for to be honest, I think Rebel Moon is going to be one of the greatest movies of all time. But that's just,
I'm excited for
my view.
And they got Charlie Hunnam, my baby,
and Ray Fisher, of course. Ray Fisher is in the film, so there you go. And
his career's dead.
Yeah, right. I got $5 super chat from the guy who helps me make up one half of Voltron, Skywalker the Jedi, with the big eyes looking at me and Saggy. Glad to have you here, Skywalker. Yes, you're seeing right. Me and Saggy are together on a panel. That is not.
We've been friends for a while.
We've been friends for a while. Like, my God, I think what, 3-4 years now? I mean, it's been a while.
Has it been? Oh wow, yeah. Time flies, dude.
And let's see. Sharon Peters says, I love it dark. And she also says, I can't believe Saggy uses so much profanity. Can we have more?
Oh, I swear a lot.
And she also says, I'd like to see Zack direct a porn film. I think Zack said at one point that he would like to direct a porn film, so maybe it might happen.
I don't know how I'd feel about Zack Snyder directing a porn. I think it'd be way too dark and gritty for me to enjoy the actual sex.
Dark, gritty, sweaty, and with slow-mo.
Right, a lot of slow-mo and dream lenses. No, can you imagine Michael Bay doing a porno?
Oh God! Like a Transformers is essentially robot porn, pretty much, right? The Michael Bay movies.
I'm dying because I'm picturing bunch of explosions.
Don't die, Saggy.
I'm just picturing the explosions of a Michael Bay porno just being just close-ups of just exploding cum.
Oh my God! Now you're speaking Sharon Peters' language. And
that's literally a Michael Bay porn, just cum just exploding everywhere.
Okay, Sharon, we're gonna get to that in a minute, but I got another $5 super chat from my main man, Skywalker the Jedi. He says the work is bigger than the people who tried to bury him. The greatest revenge is succeeding where they told him he'd fail. Hashtag restore the Snyderverse. Very well said. Thank you again, Skywalker.
I stand by
one of these days I'll have drops for you guys. I'll have more drops. My other drop that I was using all the time, the deleted scene from the Batman, got me hit with a copyright claim last time I used it, so I can't play it right now. But Sharon Peters says, if you and Saggy got married, I'd love to see Console Fanboy sing. Oh yeah, we'd have Console Fanboy sing in our wedding if we get married. I would insist on it. What is Saggy's go-to porn category? Oh, I know this. I heard you say this the other day. Oh, okay, wait.
Yeah, you did. You were in the
stream. You said this on your stream. The kind that you like. You're into that. You're into that sleep creep stuff that they got off. That they took off of the internet because of
Yeah, because the sus stuff that I didn't think of at the time.
Yeah.
The sus stuff.
Wow.
Bro, everyone thinks that of my name, and that's why I think it's hilarious. Because like, my haters will be like, what kind of name is Saggy Melonz? I'm like, a name you will now never forget. That was the whole point of the name. Because now you'll never forget the name. Saggy Melonz.
That's right. You are absolutely unforgettable. And let's see. Let's see. Sharon Peters says, porn exploding everywhere. I love when Saggy quotes Oprah.
No, cum exploding everywhere. And Michael Bay porn, cum. It's all cum shots everywhere.
And
yes, okay. That's like porn. Okay, I'm glad we're on the same page. It's like porn explodes everywhere. No cum.
Well, now that we've kind of transitioned away from drama and we're talking about porn, do you want to kind of wrap this up now?
Yes, because I got work tomorrow.
Have some final thoughts on any of this? I mean,
at the end of the day, I'm not here to convince people to like me or understand me. Like, that is your prerogative. But I will say, like, I do have friends who are in your corners with the whole Snyder fandom. They're all about it happening and stuff, and that's fine. But the thing that is different is, like, Zod and my other friends, who are part of that side, they don't make me feel bad about my feelings and takes on it. And that's the thing that people don't understand. Like, you can have an opposing opinion and still be cordial. I get that people don't know me, they don't know Zod, so it's easy to kind of like judge, and that's, again, fine. I'm all for criticism. But at the end of the day, just remember, guys, it really is over movies and opinions, which at the end of the day are all subjective. And no one should be getting this mad at each other to the point of flagging channels, labeling people racist, labeling people homophobic, or anything because we have a difference of opinions on movies. It's just dumb, and we're all grown as adults, and maybe we should start acting like it more, myself included, completely filled.
Amen. Yes.
Let's just like, we don't have to be friends, but we don't have to fight each other every day on the internet. Although I will fight the toxic ones. I'm still going to fight the toxic people. I don't give a shit.
Well, I'm not going to fight you, Saggy. Like I said, I would rather love you any day of the week. I'm not ever going to fight you. It's awesome. El Necron says, see, ain't this better than YouTubers yelling at each other? No. And to me, that is the comment of the night. So I'm going to pin that. That actually, no, I have your comment pinned where you say it's going to be amazing. For some reason, I thought you said you were going to be amazing. You were just going to say I'm going to be amazing.
Both, yes.
But I guess that's correct. So with that, we're going to go ahead and end tonight's late night Q&A with ZodWriter featuring Saggy Melonz. This was episode 58. This is an episode that I wanted to do. Saggy, thank you so much for being here. I love this.
Anytime.
It was great. And on this upcoming Thursday, I will have Robert Meyer Brunette as my guest. I love Robert. It's going to be fun to talk to him because we haven't talked in a while. Saggy, what can people expect from you coming up?
Me yelling about YouTubers and YouTube drama.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, good night, everybody. Hashtag restore the Snyderverse. See you next time. Zack Snyder's Justice League 2 and 3 are inevitable, to quote Integrity 101. Thank you for watching, everybody. Like, share, subscribe, and subscribe to Saggy Melonz if you haven't. But you probably have already because she has more subs than me. So good night.